welcome here to a very special edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I am down in the great state of Florida broadcasting from our second home of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, of Wake Up Call, of course, Do Diz with Dan, Superpowered Pop, a bunch of different pieces that we have. Two Mics, No Filter. My co-host, Andrea Smith, is down here in St. Augustine. Of course, Comic Book Trails is all over the country. So shout out to Florida for being our second home and for being a place where we get to broadcast today. I'm wearing my Hell's Kitchen Daredevil shirt, which actually has the braille for like everything that's on it. It's got Murdoch on the back with the braille there too. I'm picture in picture with Josh Gideon, who is the owner operator of GG Cards and Breaks, and we are here today to reflect on Topps Rip Night, an event that was at GG Cards and Breaks just a few days ago that featured Kiyan Anthony. Josh, how are we?
I'm ecstatic. I'm still rolling from the excitement of that. That was by far I can't speak for you, but that was the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of and ever been able to do, and do it with the people I care about and be surrounded by, oh man, everything from start to finish with that whole experience was just memorable, awesome. I just feel really, really grateful that we got to do it and got to do it together. So that was just super special.
Yeah. I've been talking about it on and off the air, and I've catch myself saying the same words: excited, appreciative, honored, blessed, thankful, grateful. It just was such a surreal experience for me. I think I blacked out from the beginning, and no, it was just it was a lot of fun. And I think I was talking to Brendan Murphy and DT and Murphy on Wake Up Call here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios about it, and I said to him, I was like, probably my favorite part next to actually doing it was planning it, and the powwow sessions, the phone calls, the text messages, you coming over to my house and being there until past 2:00 in the morning. All those things that people don't see that were the essence of the planning, which, going back to that night, now that we've done the event, just for your thoughts to reflect on that, because I said that's probably my favorite part, was the fact that you allowed me to be a part of the creation of it, and that we were just sitting there just riffing back and forth in bringing this thing to life.
Yeah, well, do you remember the text message when I first found out this was all happening, and I was like, I need you. This is the first person I was like, we have, you have to do this. I didn't care. I was like, I don't care what you've got going on. You have to be a part of this. And instantly, what happens is your head goes swimming in terms of 50 different directions of how to start planning for this. And it's not even just how to plan for it, but you need to have a plan for the plan for the plan. And there's little things that you never, it's just you're in a million different directions at once because you want this to be so special and so well thought out. And the only way you do that outside of being in your own head with all these ideas is incorporating everybody else around you that brings you up by your bootstraps, right? That's what the whole business has been about since we started, is it's not one person, it's not one idea, it's the execution of all of these people around you that help you rise to your greatest potential. That's been the idea with the card shop, whether it's your customer or someone you network with. This was a culmination of years and years of hard work from Anthony to me, to just spending late nights going over the plan for just day-to-day operations. And then you talk about, we got thrown this opportunity, which was a miracle. And then just incorporating, it was you, it was the great people at the Wildcat, it was John Newman, it was all my employees, it was everybody, just basically coming together and throwing all of the ideas together, bouncing things. Do we like that? Do we not like that? How do we do that? Can we afford that? We didn't really worry too much about the expenses. Me and Anthony decided that we were throwing, whatever, throw it all at the wall. This has got to be epic. This has got to be the coolest thing that every kid that's ever been to the shop or never been to the shop, or same with the parents, experiences. This was as the person I spoke with at Tops described, this is your Super Bowl moment, right? And although my Bills have never won a Super Bowl, I feel I feel like together we won our version of the Super Bowl. So
Well, yeah, I
it was
mean,
amazing.
well, and that's, I mean, that's the thing. And you, so Josh called me on Valentine's Day, and I didn't answer, and I let him know that I was currently predisposed, and he was like, "All right, give me a call tomorrow."
Unacceptable.
Yeah,
No.
and I didn't call him on Sunday, and I got a message on Monday. He called me again, and then he said, like, please call me back. Like, call me back when you get a chance. It's February 20. It's going to be like February 21st. No big deal if you can't make it. I just won't speak to you again. So there
I think
was,
my exact words were, if you
you're
don't
dead to
make
me.
this happen,
Yeah.
you're dead to me.
Yeah, so it was Josh having a conversation with himself, and he was like, "Hey, I hope you can, I hope you could do this. If you can, it's okay. Just so you know, you're dead. You would be dead to me." And then I called him back, and I was like, "Hey, I'm supposed to be somewhere," and he was like, "Don't." I said, "Just let me call you," and he was like, "Okay," and we talked about it, and we've done a lot of things together. Obviously, we partner together with Wake Up Call and GG Cards and Breaks. And, when it comes to trade night, I helped to put that link between you and the Wildcat. And when you had a restaurant come to you and say, "Hey, would you like to do it here?" And I said, "I know a guy. Before you do anything, please let me talk to Danny." And, I was like, "Danny loves cards. I work with him. I trust him." And then that started, the conversation with Trade Night, which is now there at the Wildcat all the time. And so there's a lot of things that we did together, but there's like certain things where if I'm out of town and this and that. And I called my mom because I was supposed to be down in Florida. We were supposed to be taking a trip. And I told her, I was like, "Hey, this is what's happening. Josh has never, like, yes, you've appreciated my work and we've worked on a lot of things, but I was like, he's never come to me like this. He's never talked to me in this way. He's never threatened to be dead to him." But I just said, this is a huge event. I remember you saying this is a crossroads for all of us. This is a huge moment. We're going to look back on 10 years from now. This could change everything. And, there's a lot of things you said to me about our relationship and our partnership. And I just knew that I had to be there. It was in my gut. And so, I talked to my mom, and then my dad talked to my mom, and my dad was like, he said, "This is an opportunity of a lifetime." He said to my mom, he's like, "Do you understand that he cannot pass this up?" And I just knew. I knew I had to be there. There was no thought on my mind. And yeah,
I
it,
was gonna run after you at the airport if you said you couldn't do it and beg you, beg, don't go,
like
don't
liar,
go.
liar. Yeah. Just like
Yeah,
that liar, liar scene. He was going to throw a shoe at my plane, but
just like that.
no, but I mean, and the thing is, and you don't know this until now, this is like the tell-all edition of Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, but I did not sleep. So I did the event. So I woke up in the morning, I took a shower. I went to the first half of the Syracuse, North Carolina game. There was no way that I could physically be there and be at GG Cards and Breaks when I wanted to be. So I left after the first half. I went home, I got my dog to bring to my dad's. Then I had to pick up someone else. And so her and I went and got the dog and dropped Lily off at my dad's house. Then we got there by 3:30 to GG Cards and Breaks so that I was in place, got inside, did the event, finished the event after 8:30, left at like whatever it was, be like almost 10, and went back. Her and I hung out for a bit. Then I had to get ready for my flight, and I had to repack. I threw 3 piles of clothes on top of my suitcase, and I said, "Make it work, Dan." And I did
Then,
not. I did
then you
not.
woke up 3 hours later
Yeah.
after you passed out on top of the
No.
brief
So
or the
I
suitcase.
did not sleep.
Yeah.
I went straight onto my flight. I flew a direct flight to Orlando to meet my mom, who was already down here. And I
It's been
was,
exhausted.
so I was, at that point, I was up for 24 hours. Then I stayed up. So I think it ended up being that I was maybe awake close to 36 hours straight.
Sorry about that.
No, you're not.
Oh, my bad. I'm not, but I do it all again.
I would too, I texted you. I think at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I wrote
You
I
did.
can't.
You did.
I wrote I can't sleep. So I was like, I'm so excited. I was so amped, and I mean, I'm still riding this wave, and I'm blown away. It couldn't have happened to better people. I don't I don't know if I could talk about people that work harder than you and Anthony, and it's knowing you guys a few years back, which I can't believe we're already in year 3,
Isn't that crazy?
and but meeting you, talking with you, spending time with you both, seeing all the work you put in, the constant inventory, working on the computer, working in the back, moving things around, buying display cases, getting cards graded, bringing in product, like just being up all hours of the day and night. And I did. I said to my mom, I said to my dad, I said to a ton of people, I said, there's no better people this could happen for. There's no one has earned this moment more than you both. And there will be more. There will be so many things that come from this. This is the jump off. This is the turning point. This is the fork in the road. And you took the right path. And God is going to look kindly down on all the work that you've done. I think you've already seen the blessings that have been here. I genuinely cannot say enough about you or Anthony or your team. And I'm very proud to know you. I'm very happy that, God blessed you with this thing. And to look at everything that happened, not only were you successful with it and you had a plan for the plan of the plan of the plan, but you did this in less than a week. And
we did this in less than a week. You know what I mean? Like it was, like I said, it was not just me. From our meetings, like this was a team effort. We
yeah,
all really rose to the occasion, and I I could not, like I said before. I'm sorry I just interrupted you, but
there you
it
go.
just this was, we did this together, and that didn't happen overnight. That relationship we have, that it's some people don't have this their whole lives. But I'm not even talking about just from like the business standpoint of things. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
from the day I met you, this was deeper than that, man. It just like there's a connection with you, and there's a connection with so many people that we get to make, that like, just got us here. And God knows when, and like I said, in 10 years, like where does this all lead us? Like this has just been so refreshing and rewarding and awesome. And again, I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were saying some really nice things, and I just jumped in there. So let me hand the mic back to you.
No, I mean it's just you and I. My dad brought me in a few Father's Days ago because we go antiquing and whatnot. I don't know if he knew the card shop was there or what, but he walked me up to the door, and then I went in, and then he was silent. It was like he led me here, and he just like let me experience it. And I talked to Joel, and I was walking around, and he was super nice and very helpful and honest. And I was like, who owns this place? And he was like, oh, that's Josh. And I said, well, I'm a broadcaster. I do a lot of work in the area. I would love to partner. We're looking for a sports card place. I said, can I have his information? And he got me in touch with you, and you called me back. And the first time we talked on the phone, I talked about my passion. You talked about your passion. We cried.
Hmm.
in this very genuine conversation, we've been crying for 3 years, but
We never stopped
yeah,
crying.
but
I
it's
think that
all
was
the,
right when I tore my rotator cuff and told you how hard it was and everything was, yeah, it was tough, man.
well, and the thing is like we have been genuinely connected from the first time we spoke. It's been real. It's been deeper, like you said, than just simply working together. It's been emotional, and it's like when you find your people, you just know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've cried, you've cried, we've laughed, we've laughed because we've cried so hard. We've
Cried.
laughed so hard that we cried, and I just look at moments like this, and it's like movie to me. It's
Yeah.
like,
You said it was surreal before. I agree with you.
yeah, I mean, it honestly feels like I'm living in this like movie part where like it all came together and we're all just looking at each other and smiling, and it couldn't happen to better people, and it's so rewarding to see your people win. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that you and Anthony believed in me. I'm grateful that you asked me to be a part of this. And I just found myself pinching myself, really sitting here, like breathing, but also feeling like I wasn't. Like, what? How am I a part of this? Why am I here? And it's one thing to be able to it's one thing to chase after things, and you get them, and I thank God for that. And then it's another thing to have something chase after you, and it's a blessing. And it's just an honor. It's a privilege, and for you to call me up and to even have thought of me, to thought of any of this. And I send it all back to you and to Anthony and to your team, that I just value it so much, and I'm so happy, and I am like, I don't have enough words to say, like, you all led to this point, and now God will lead you forward to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And you're going to achieve far more than you ever thought you could. And I'm going to be there again, crying
I know
happy
you
tears
will.
because I'm proud. So,
I know you will, dude. You know, okay, so I was watching back all the video at 1,000 times because I was editing the stuff to put together a nice little like a reel that like captures like some of the cool moments of the night when Kiyan was there. And one of the things I've said about you, I think I've said this directly to you, but I've said this about you, um, is that like I I am not always the most articulate person. I can be articulate, but when the moment comes where you need to put, articulatable thoughts together, and you just and execute and just be able to like just have the right questions in place at the right times, the right tone, the way you speak to a person, the way like you're able to you have finally honed that. You know what I mean? It's something where every time the camera goes on, even when we're just talking as we are right now, I get that little like jitteriness and like nervousness. And why? I'm just talking to my friend, right? But there's not a world where Anthony and I, no matter how many late nights we had at the store, no matter how many sacrifices we made to get ready for that moment, there's no version that would have been anywhere as close to what you delivered for and with us, like during that night, keeping the things going when we were dealing with the chaos behind the scenes, as and like adapting on the fly and keeping the things, seamlessly like just like everything was smooth, even when it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like that was it's like a beautiful chaotic symphony to watch, and like us being able to be kind of there in the moment, so that like, oh, this is going on, you're going to take care of that, or we take care of this, and like no one could tell the difference. I've talked to so many people since then. They're like, it was great, it was amazing. There was a couple tiny little things that we're going to learn for next time we do something like this, but they were like, it went so smoothly. And in my head I'm thinking like, there was a million things we were dealing with going like, oh my gosh, like, and Anthony just just like took a total stranglehold of the social media. He's like, I got this. And like you were handling all that with, when I was running around trying to figure out the little chaos of the scene, because I can share with people at this point, there was a little bit of bumpage in terms of when we were expecting Kiyan and when he came. So, this stuff happens. It's you adapt on the fly. It's just life. And so in that moment, it was just amazing to know that like all the right people were in the right places saying and doing the right things. And like I said, watching it all back, I'm like, there's no way if I was up there with Anthony, I mean, listen, we would have tried our best, but without you there, it just wouldn't have been remotely even close to being the same. So like that's why from the beginning I was like, this is my dude. Like if I don't have you, like you're dead to me. So I'm glad I had you. Thank you, my friend.
Well, again, I put it back to the hard work and the sleepless nights. I mean, on the show we have commercials, and when it comes to GG cards and breaks, and I remember Murph going, "Oh, now all you have to do is make their commercial." I'm like, "Now I'm gonna keep it live," and I said because I could speak in the moment. And what I typically say is, GG Cards and Breaks, your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. I give the days and times that you're open, but then I talk about being a big kid, having your big kid spirit, going to a place that feels like home, going to a place that's kind of like Central Perk, and just walking inside and getting closer to your team, closer to your favorite player, closer to the games you love, closer to the characters you love, building friendships. Like, I look at GG Cards and Breaks, and if I didn't have GG Cards and Breaks, I wouldn't have you. I wouldn't have Joel. I wouldn't have Anthony. I wouldn't have Alex. I wouldn't have, all of the significant others and, getting to meet them and their families. I wouldn't have your mom and dad who both talked to me individually during the event. And that was such an honor, to tell your parents, I love your son like a brother. Like, this is my family. He's a good guy. He's always been good to me. And, just to shout out, to be around John Newman again, where we had lost touch for a little bit and we got reconnected. And that's been fun to be with him again, to all of these people. I mean, so many familiar faces were there. I wouldn't know Curtis, and, I wouldn't know Bobby. And so there's all of this love. And every time I do the live commercial, I try to say that to people, like, this is a place that made my life better. It's not a place where I buy cards. It's a place where I get to be 9 years old forever, and it made my life better. And then I got to see hundreds of people experience how you make people's lives better. And that to me was the greatest part of the night, to be able to see all of this amazing stuff happen and then look to my left and say, it's for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it was really an honor to do that. Number one, like I don't I don't think I have much of an ego in what I do. And I almost have this weird imposter syndrome after it was all said and done where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I think that was like the best version of how that could have been. And I feel like we all handled it perfectly. And it was just like, do we deserve this to have been so awesome? And like obviously, yeah, the answer is yes, but like the feedback to I mean the immediate feedback. I'm talking about like reactions of kids like who won prizes or got to shoot, the ball to rip a pack against Kiyan. Dude, like just watching these kids, man, you can't help but like see yourself in them.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing because you realize like these core memories you carry with you through life. Like those are, to be able to provide that to another kid, you recognize when it's happening. You can see the glimmer in their eyes, you can see the excitement. And like even hearing feedback from grown, I had a guy, I don't know if I told you this. He was a grandfather to one of the kids there. I didn't know it at the time. He walks up, just very mute expressions, stern, had a sternness about him. And he walked up to the counter, and this was after the event was wrapping up. He goes, who would I talk to that's the owner here? And I like, I looked at him, I was like, uh-oh, like, like what happened? Like, here we go. I knew something was going to be something that goes on. I go, oh, that's me. And he goes, and he just puts his hand out. He goes, I cannot tell you how much of a great time you provided for me and my grandson. It was amazing. We had such a wonder. It was the sweetest things he could have said. And I'm not gonna lie, I was not that I would normally have this reaction, but I think I was just a combination of being, it would be so heartfelt. I was exhausted. I was delirious. I was like, running on no sleep and 12 energy drinks. But I just like, it hit me and I almost like, I was choking up trying not to cry. I was like, you're welcome. But it was beautiful. Like, I mean, just seeing all of that, and like the feedback hasn't stopped. If you look at the social media posts, if you look at everything, both, it's not just me, it's what you have shared with everybody too. It has been just like love, support, and like just people being like, you guys killed it. And it's like, man, that validation, you talk about community, you talk about like how it's so important to be like, like part of the community, and it's integral, and how important that is. Like, you didn't just see it there, you felt that. Like, I never would have imagined there'd be a line of 75, 100 people. I don't even, there was probably more like lined up around down the road. And I didn't have my megaphone at the time. So I walked out and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, explaining how this is going to work. And, how is everyone excited? Because I know I'm excited, but as I'm, I can feel, I'm like, if I gotta scream this loud, I'm gonna lose my voice before the event even starts. But man, I just every time I think about this last Saturday, it just makes me smile. It makes me excited for what it was, what it leads to in the future, what it provided for all those people, what it provided for us. Like, it just felt like everyone won, and that was so cool. And I want that feeling more and more and more. I mean, that's the feeling we want to cultivate, right? People walk in the store, like, we want them to feel like they won. We want them to feel like they're welcome, like they're warm, like they're embraced, like this is something more than just a card shop. Like, this is an experience. This is something where like it's special. Every time you get to go out to it, you're like, man, I just feel lighter here. And I know I have customers, literally, I'm not going to name them on stream, even though they'd be fine with it, but they're like, dude, this is my happy place. I leave work, I'm stressed out. I come here, I see you guys, I see the product. It's like, and I love that. It's almost like therapy to some people, and I love that we've been able to provide that. So that's super humbling and super cool to be a part of that.
Well, I mean, every time, like I say, I think about going to the store all the time, and all the days that I don't go to the store, I think about going to the store. And I wanted to buy so many things that night. And I just, from the beginning, I would see people come up and I'm like, oh, can I help you with something? And I would, grab stuff for them. And if I could answer the question, I'd answer the question. Or I'd go to you or Anthony or somebody else and be like, hey, what does this mean? Or what about this or that? And I was selling all these Tops products. And at one point, one of your staff members was like, are you working tonight? And I was like, I've sold a lot of things. He's like, if you had commission, I was like, I would have killed it. Like, I mean, but it was the craziest part of the night for me. Well, there's two things. When Kiyan was coming to the event earlier, you brought me, you're like, hey, could I talk to you? And it was you and I and the Tops rep, Matthew. And we were talking about it. And I was like, why did Josh, like, this isn't my decision to make. And then you're like, hey, you and Matthew and Anthony talk about it. And I was like, why am I here? And then during the event, in like the middle of it, the Tops rep walked up to me, looked me in the eye, put his hand out, and went to shake my hand. And he goes, hey, I just want to let you know you are doing a fantastic job, right? Like tonight. He's like, you're doing you're doing a fantastic job. And 9-year-old me shook his hand back, and I was like, I've opened your products my entire life. I don't know what to do that a Tops person, which I felt like was someone from the galaxy, has somehow come down to Earth to talk to
An
me for a minute.
ambassador of the Tops Galactic,
Yeah.
yeah,
I felt like
the
I was talking.
Confederation.
Yeah, I was like, oh, so like you're an international brand. I've collected you my whole life, and you would like to tell me something kind toward me. I
I
was
won.
like,
That's when you're just like, I
yeah,
won everything. I won
I
life.
was like
Sorry,
this.
Josh, I can't do the event anymore. I gotta go.
I was shaking his hand, and then I just started talking, and I was like, man, you have so many awesome products, you have so many great things, and I said, and you're getting football back soon. He's like, real soon, and I was like, dude, I'm stoked, like I'm psyched for this, and like I was collecting tops like crazy basketball when I was a kid, and so I mean, it's it's just like the whole thing was amazing, and the people that came up, and like I said, I saw so many faces and kids that I know and adults I know, and then total strangers coming up afterward, shaking my hand and talking with me and whatnot. And then, you know, your dad coming up, which by the way, I talked to my dad and I was like, so Mr. Gideon, Josh's father, and my dad was like, is his dad Dave Gideon?
Oh, come on.
And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I never put two and two together. I go, what is wrong with you, Ralph? And
We knew that. We
yeah,
knew that was gonna be.
he's like Dave Gideon. He's like,
Who would
oh
have
my.
thought two people with the same last name that
Yeah.
look pretty similar to
He's
each
like, you know,
other?
Gideon's gallery. I never even thought about. I was like, Dad, I can't. I cannot. I was like, street smarts me. My dad book. Like and I said to my dad, if there was a zombie apocalypse, my mom and I would help him get into a tree, and then Lily and my mom and I would kill the zombies around the tree. But like,
Oh, that's funny.
but I mean, talking to your dad and your mom, Kathy, and having her come up and hang out,
Kathy,
yeah,
Kathy,
and then
Kathy.
you were like, Mom, we've never done this before, and
Yeah,
like
that's
the
cool.
fact that on the like biggest night of your career up to this point, arguably, and then you got to make history with your mom, and she was wearing the Tops Rip Night shirt, and she was so sweet. And I said a bunch of nice things, and she looked at me like, "How much did my son pay you?" I'm like, "He didn't pay me anything for to say this to you." I was like, "I'm a paid host," but I
Why
was
would
like,
my mom? Why would my mom say that? Why would she? What was she gonna what would negotiate for me on my behalf? Well,
no,
wait a
no,
minute.
no. She was like, no. it was like, oh, how much does he pay you to say nice things? I was like, I,
That.
I say nice things because I want to, but it was like, you know, all of this stuff. And my dad was paying attention. My mom was paying attention. Like there were so many people. Brendan was watching. I didn't even know. And my mom texted me the next morning, Sunday morning on the 22nd. And she was like, that was excellent. And she was raving about it from watching the stream. And so, I mean, it's just like, again, I until the next Tops Rep night, I'm gonna feel like we're still on one. We're still doing this, but you know, to see all the people coming in the store and how busy you've been and how busy you were that day and how many people showed up and how that entire room was filled simply with kids, and then like the whole back room was full. It's like I was talking to Brendan about it. He was like, there was so many people. I said, Murph, there was
You
nowhere to
didn't even see
move.
half of it. Yeah,
Like there was
yeah.
nowhere to move. It was crazy. It was amazing.
It was amazing. I'm just, man, I feel like this is a poor analogy because you know how I feel about Disney. But like I feel like this is me kind of coming off the high of going to Disney for the first time for like what other people that do like Disney experience.
Yeah.
So like for me, I'm just like I keep thinking about, like man, I had a great time seeing, Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all those other guys. I mean, that's just, yeah, it was amazing. I wish we could go to Disney World every day. So, I mean, that version of not the real. Okay, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and you know, Kiyan too. I mean, I asked him to do the "Let's Go Orange" chant, and
Such a cool moment,
and,
man.
and like
So cool.
he did that. We got to talk about his mom. We got to talk about his dad. We got to laugh. We got to, you know, have deep conversation. The kids got to ask questions. He did the selfie. He looked right into the camera, pointed, and said, you know, Tops Rip Night. I want to thank Tops, GG Cards and Breaks. Like, he really brought so much awesome energy to it. He seemed to be a big kid, and he had fun. And I love the fact that everybody took to him and all the kids and the adults took to him. And then after he left, nobody left. And they
Yeah,
just
no,
stayed with
we had
us.
people for, yeah, what,
Yeah.
hour and a, two
Like,
hours? Easy. Yeah.
right. And people just doing giveaways. And, Josh and I then got to do a dual in the moment impromptu stand-up comedy with two comedians on stage while we gave out stuff. And I think that was so much fun too, because
I kept
Top's
trying to
Rip
get you
Night
to
was,
sing.
what'd you say?
Said I kept trying to get you to sing.
Yeah. And I mean,
Sing the raffle ticket
yeah, my
numbers.
mom was like, she's like, at one point, Josh just kind of, she's like, where did he go? I was like, listen,
I
we were
was
living,
tired, man.
we were living in the moment. We were having fun, and
Yeah.
Josh was like, sing. And I was like, no, but like the whole, all of it. I mean, it was funny. It was heartfelt. It was real, and people stayed. And that was the whole thing. Was it's Top's Rip Night. Yes, we're happy that Kiyan Anthony is here, but it's the entire night, not just
Yeah.
that one part. And the community responded to it, and I don't think it could have gone any better. And
No.
I don't know if Tops will hear any other building chant Tops Rip Night as loudly, as consistently, and as much as they heard at GG Cards and Breaks.
Yeah, man. That was awesome. And I mean, this is not going to be the last time that we do something awesome together. Especially with Tops. Like this was, man, like I said, I think I've said it already, but that was so excited for that event. And I'm so excited for like every other one we get to do together with them. Like for the record, anytime that we're doing anything in the future, I'll give you as much notice as I can. But same deal stands. You're dead to me. If you're not there for me, I don't care what you got going on. I don't care what's happening. No excuses. You do it with me, or else it's nobody else. It's you
Jo-
and nobody else.
Josh,
I'll drag you. I'll drag you there.
Josh, I'm getting married. I don't care. But
I
you're one
don't
of the
care.
groomsmen. Doesn't matter. Like,
Sorry. Sounds like a you problem.
sounds like something we could figure out at another date. And so, I now know, thanks to Tops and all the wonderful people that came out to GG Cards and Breaks, that I was already going to be saying yes, but now I know that I'm saying yes for the rest of my
Yeah,
life.
there you
Josh,
go. Lock it in.
Josh
Lock it in.
basically said to me, in the famous words of Deadpool in Wolverine's ear, until you're 90. So and we're the same age, so we're gonna keep rocking and rolling.
Two
Final.
old 90-year-old guys just drew Top Strip night. Let's go, baby.
Josh is gonna look at me and he's gonna go, sing, and I'm gonna go, no. Yes.
You never want to sing. Why? You have a beautiful voice. Share it with the people.
Just read off the numbers.
You always try to go so theatrical. Why? Why?
Why are we here right now? They want you to take the roles.
Speaking of going off the rail, this is exactly every conversation we've ever had. We
Yeah.
start so
Prim and
by
proper.
the end of it, we're just doing impressions and yeah, it's nonsense.
We are living in the world that we live in, where we wake up every day, we get to do what we love what we do, and we're the 0.0000000000001 percenters, and I thank God for that every day, and I pray that everybody gets to be that, so that percentage can go up to 100, because this is why we are who we are. We're always going to be big kids, because we surround ourselves with love. We're passionate. We care, and we do what we love, and we love what we do. And when it's hard and there's adversity, we fight through all of it, because we know that this is our passion. This is our drive. It's our calling. And it's an amazing world where I get to meet people like you doing what I love, crossing paths with you, doing what you love, and to collaborate. I do. Like, I look back on this night and I just think to myself, I said it to my mom, I go, I think I blacked out for 3 hours, but like, I mean, but it's funny, because when you were like, hey, what do you want to do? I think we might have to move Kiyan up an hour. We may have to do this. And then one of your staff members looked at me and he goes, he goes, announce it. And I go, when? And he goes, now. And,
Now.
and I took everything I had and I just went to my script. I went, okay, Kiyan's going up here. All of this is dropping. I'll figure it out. And I remember being there with the tops rep and I just told you guys, I go, I got it. I'll figure it out. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just, when you love what you do and you do what you love, you're prepared for those moments that people are like, how can you do this? You just do it. And, I told people, you guys had a plan for a plan of a plan of a plan. I said, I was like, if this is what they can do in less than a week, imagine what they can
Yeah.
do with months. And I mean, it went off without a hitch. It was wonderful. It was worth staying up for. And I'm going to give you the last word on what you want to say about all of it, because I can't thank Central and Upstate New York enough. Syracuse, y'all know I love you. And I told everybody in that room, I said, I love y'all so much. And, when you think about that line from Macklemore, I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. I looked at my city that night. We looked at our city that night. And I just thought, that's the city that's right behind us. If we fall, they got us. And man, they made my day. So I'm going to give you last word.
So I just want to do just a general shout out to like every person that's ever shopped with us, that was there that night, that was there for the first time or the thousandth time, or anyone that just has been a part of making this successful. I mean, it doesn't have to be a major role player like you or like any of like it's anybody, right? This is a community. This is a hobby. This is what that was kind of like what Top Strip Night is about. It's like you can rip expensive stuff cheap. It doesn't matter. It's like it's fun for us all to get together and just like do the thing that's the most fun, which is like rip a pack of cards, whether you're 5 years old or 80 years old or an 80-year-old tripping with a 5-year-old, like, and it's a grandfather and a grandson. It is a communal gathering. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that my shop's been able to be that for people. I'm grateful that we got to have Kiyan come by. I don't even know. That might have been his first pack of cards he's ever ripped. We never asked him. So that could be something cool that he got to do. We're certainly grateful that he came by, like immensely grateful that Tops just allowed us to be a part of this and like rock and roll with like being able to like make it so special for everyone involved. And then like obviously I got to end with like personal shout outs to my wife, to Anthony, who's been my partner with this through the thick and thin. And if anybody knows, in the beginning it was tumultuous. We were trying to figure out how do we do this with the furniture, with the cards, and Anthony was the driving force. I was always stubborn. I was like, I don't know how the heck we're going to be able to do this. And the thing about me and him is like he pushes me, I push him. Sometimes we push each other, but like we always figure out a better path forward. And it's not with immense sacrifice, but like it's just hit, also shout out to Beth, who's been there every step of the way, just helping him through everything, and helping me with everything. We're all very much a family, like within work and outside of work, in everything we pretty much do. And I mean, since I'm shouting out people too, the newest member of the family, Millie, she was there for trade night too. So
Really?
that's pretty cool. I think at one point I can't remember, but I think people were like chanting her name.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I said,
I feel like
I,
I remember people like
I,
Millie,
yeah,
Millie.
yeah. I said to the youngest employee of GG Cards and Breaks, can we do a Millie chant? And they started chanting for Millie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cute, man. But no, just I mean, if I could sum it up for one word or with one word, let's not do one word. Let's do two. Grateful and excited. And just grateful for all of it, past, present, future, and excited for what that showed us we could do, showed us what we could be, and what the future holds. So yeah, I'm just let's rock. Let's do this all together. Let's keep moving forward and bigger, better.
Well, like I said, I can't thank you and Anthony enough for the opportunity to be a part of this and, to really just blend our families and to bring all this together. And, it means a lot. It definitely, it goes such a long way with me. And, you and Anthony are always top of mind, on my heart. And, being able to do this would be great, but it wouldn't have been the same if it wasn't you guys, if it wasn't this place, if it wasn't these people.
The feeling's mutual, man.
So, for Josh Gideon, myself, Dan Tortora, for the entire GG Cards or Breaks family, of course, Anthony Campbell, and to all the wonderful people out there. I'll say Alex before Joel since he says I never do. And, big time shout out to Dave and to everybody, to Joe, and obviously John Newman, and so on and so forth. To Tops, thank you, Keith. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, everybody at Tops. And, of course, a very special thank you to the man, Mr. Kiyan Anthony. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we say thank you for watching and listening. And please make sure you go to GG Cards and Breaks. Shouldn't have to tell you. I'll tell you anyways. Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Sundays, 10 to 5. And you can find them online at GG Cards and Breaks. Do not miss a single moment of expanding your family, your friendships, and your collection at the one place that I go to, GG Cards and Breaks.